Hey, you're listening to Profoundish. My name is Alex. I'm going to be joined by Weston in just a moment. But first, let me get real with you for a second. Are you stressed? Well, if you are, then this episode is for you because today we're talking all about stress. What stresses us out? What do we do to mitigate the stress? And be sure to stick around because later on, Weston and I are going to be putting our improv skills to the test once again, where we'll be given a randomly generated bad scenario and two random objects, which we have to use to get out of these bad scenarios. It's really fun. You don't want to miss it. Enjoy this episode of Profoundish. Weston, I think today we're going to cut to the chase.
Ooh.
We're going to cut straight to the chase today.
Oh, I'm scared.
Weston, I want to know something. I'll ask you a question.
Okay.
What stresses you out?
Cutting to the chase.
No, really. What stresses you out? What are some things that really stress you out?
Oh, I don't know. I guess a lot of things happening at once. Large crowds of people, which is not a crazy stress, but it's like, I don't like it. Having a lot on your plate and then not wanting to do any of it, so you put it off, and so the stress just builds and builds and builds. It's usually that kind of stuff that's like looming. Things that are I haven't researched this. I need to look into this. Apparently, there's like a thing called waiting mode that affects people, where if you get into a point where you know a thing is coming up, you have no motivation to do anything until then. If it's like me, I wake up at like 7 a.m, I have breakfast, I do my whole rigmarole. It's like 11 in the morning. I've got a doctor's appointment at 3 p.m. I can't afford to do anything between now and 3. I don't have time. No way.
I have done that too.
You know what I mean?
I have done that too. It's like, and for me, a lot of it's the stress and the anxiety of the thing that I have to do that I may not want to do. It's mainly when it's something I don't want to do or I'm nervous about, right? It's looming over you, like you said. And like it just hinders you from doing anything else that day.
Yeah.
And then I get stressed later because I look back at a wasted day where I could have been getting things done that needed to get done that I didn't get done.
Yeah.
That is probably my biggest stressor in general, is that sort of stuff. So waiting mode, I'd be curious to look into that too.
I've had a tab open on my phone browser. My Chrome browser on my phone it usually has several tabs open of things like, I need to remember to look this up later, and I'll open a tab, and then it just sits there for months. But I've had a tab open on my phone to research waiting mode, and I'm like, because I heard about it somewhere, and I'm like, wait, I feel like I have that, because it's like, it doesn't matter if there's a couple of hours or like 6 hours before my event. Yeah. I feel like I can't do anything because I don't have time. And it's like, well, even if it takes you 30 minutes to drive over to the doctor's appointment or whatever, and at most you need 45 minutes, right, before the thing to like get ready and then go, I can't do anything for those other 5 hours because, I don't have time. But you do.
No, that's a stressor. Now, what if it, just out of curiosity, if it's something that you're like really looking forward to, not a doctor's appointment per se, but like something like really fun, maybe a social thing or whatever. Is it the same kind of thing or is it different?
Kind of depends on what the thing is you're looking forward to. So we got, it was Valentine's Day a couple of weeks ago. So if it's like a really important thing that you're looking forward to, like a date, you're like, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm nervous. So that would be a stressor versus something like I'm going to an amusement park. Like, I'm going to Disney World. That doesn't cause me stress. I'm like, I'm going to go have fun. It doesn't matter. But also you're on your own time. There's no expectations. You're just having fun.
Right. And I know, like, on a day like that, if I was going to, like, Six Flags or something, but I wasn't going till 3, I would be excited, and I'd probably want to try and distract myself with work because I'd be too excited. This is just an exaggeration example, but, it's like, I got to stay busy so I don't have to sit here and twiddle my thumbs till it's time to go, so let's get some work done. Because I'm not stressed about it.
Yeah.
I know one thing that stresses me out, too, is... So usually I got my morning routine... which has recently changed. I read books in the morning now. I'm getting into reading a lot. We talked about that. I'm looking at my wrong camera. We talked about that a few episodes ago. Go listen to that one. I think it's about I think it was the Balloon Wall podcast. It was that one. So go check out that episode. It talks about us reading and stuff. But anyway, so I have my morning routine, and gives me plenty of time before I need to like get ready to go into the office. I have a hybrid job, so I go into the office some days. But there are those, we all have these mornings. No matter how much you love your morning routines, if you have one or not, say you do, there's going to be mornings where you miss the alarm, or you sleep in, or you just don't want to get up, and next thing you know, you're rushing out the door. For some people, it's every day. For me, it's only sometimes, but those sometimes sucks. And I always get super stressed on the rushed mornings. Even if I make it to work on time, I'm just sitting in like a very minor, but just throne of stress until I set foot in that office and clock in, and then you're at work. But then you got to kind of come down from that a little bit. It's just like you're kind of always on edge a little bit. It's like, get up, get coffee, take a shower, whatever, go, run out the door. There's no time to relax or even really prepare yourself for the day. You're just out. That always stresses me out too.
I feel that. It's just, it's the waking up on the wrong side of the bed thing where you just, you're in that panic rush mode that you don't have time to do things the way you like to. Like, I have a period of time, part of my morning routine is getting out of bed, hitting the bathroom, getting cleaned up, whatever. I don't eat breakfast, so like brush your teeth, whatever. I don't eat. But then I come back to the bedroom and sit down on my bed, not lay down
Weston.
again. I have a moment where I have to, I get up, but then I sit down to actually start like compressing. I don't need to decompress from sleeping or whatever, but it's like a moment where I have to sit down and like start to wake up a little bit or whatever. Maybe I'll look at my phone. Sometimes I don't. I just literally sit there to have a minute for my brain to boot. It's weird. Yeah. And I just like to do that. And it's like, I don't sit there for very long or whatever. But like, if you're in a rush, I'm not doing anything. So it's like, you got to skip that. So I get up, hit the bathroom, get dressed, grab my coffee out the door. I'm like, I didn't get to have my 3 minutes sitting down. And now I'm stressed about it.
I get it. I know I would have those random mornings. I used to work at a place that was literally a 10-minute walk, like a 2-minute drive from my house. So like nowadays when I go into the office, the office is about 30 minutes away. So I have that time for me on those rushed mornings or in the commute, right? I can just zone out because it's an easy
commuting.
I know. But it's a scenic drive. I don't have to get on the highway, which is nice and whatever. But yeah, I get it. It's not the same thing. And so like, and what I'll do, and I'll stress myself out more, because that's what I'm about to say, was like, I'll be in the car and I'll go, why does this have to be in my car? Like, I'll think that. And then I'll stress myself out by going like, I should have just, and then I get on myself because I really like to have my mornings a certain way. So I'm like, you could have just gotten up, dude. Why didn't you just get up? Like, I didn't want to get up, or whatever it was. But the crunch for time. Another thing too, this is kind of like the thing that's looming over your head, but it's when there's like 5 things looming over your head, maybe a couple different days apart, but they're all coming up soon. Like, okay, this day I got like busy weeks. It's not even really the busy days that bother me, but like when I have a week, I'm like, crap, I got the doctor's appointment on Tuesday. I got a social thing Wednesday. It's social, but it still stresses you out amidst other things. I got this on Thursday. When usually your week goes a particular way that you're comfortable with, and then all of a sudden this week you got like a million things going on. When it's not, maybe it's 5 things. It's one thing a day, but that also is a stressor for me because like it completely disrupts the flow that you're comfortable with. That's a big one for me.
I feel that it's the matter of like, I've got this thing that needs like a deadline thing that needs done. But you can't do it until that day or whatever. So it's like, it's Monday. I've got this meeting or whatever on Thursday. And you're just dreading Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And so it's like, it's not doing anything to stress you out, but it's on your brain. So that dread creates just this sort of underlying current of stress that just maintains until it's over.
What it does, and then what it'll do is any other event I have going on up until Thursday makes me stressed for. Like, because I just want to do nothing. It kind of goes back to the waiting mode thing you were talking about.
Yeah.
But also, like, we kind of live in, we kind of always live in like a constant state of at least a little bit of stress.
We live in a society.
We do live in a society. What an observation, Weston.
I don't know. I think that comes from, that was like a meme.
From something.
It was like a meme from, I think, the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie or something. And now I say it every time I hear like "we live." I'm like, we live in a society.
You live in a society. It's like he's not wrong. He's not wrong at all. It's brilliant.
I guess we do. I don't know what that means, but we do.
But it's true though. We do like, and a lot of people say that, like professionals say like a little bit of stress is completely normal. Like, I don't know what like the threshold is until it's too much. Maybe it's the kind of stress, right? But like, there's always something that's going to cause some sort of little bit of stress. And we all kind of react differently to it too. Do you have? I'll start with me, so I kind of explain. Do you have any particular things that really kind of happen to you, or that you do or react to when you're in a lot of stress? Like whether it's a stressful time or just a stressful day. I know for me, what'll happen a lot of the time is, well, first of all, I shut down and I'm a lot less social. I'm a lot less likely to talk to people, text people. I shut down that way. But then also physically, I react to stress. And I get neck zits. I only get zits on the back of my neck when I'm stressed. And I don't know why. I don't get acne. At least I haven't in a long time. But I know I'm stressed when I can, like, I'll scratch the back of my neck and there it is. And it's like the worst spot. Sometimes I get like right here. It's like, I don't need I don't like my neck zits, but it does. I don't know why that happens, but I'm just curious if you have any like things that you notice in yourself when you are going through stressful times, if there's a way you act that's different or things that happen to you.
I just get a lot less fun to be around.
Yeah.
So like,
sure.
I'll get snippier and I'll just be generally grumpier. So like the trigger would just be like, if I'm stressed, the trigger is usually overstimulation, too many people trying to talk to me at once, too much like noise where I can't think straight. And if I can't get my thoughts straight, then the stress will finally build out and I'll maybe snap on somebody or whatever.
Right.
It doesn't happen a lot. I usually handle stress fairly well. I don't like it. I'm uncomfortable, but like, I'm kind of a person that's like, just let it wash over you. If there's a lot going on, just let it wash or whatever. Try to remind yourself that only so much can happen and like so quickly. Like you can't just fix it all instantly. So it's like slow down. That's what I remind myself, right? It's like slow down,
right?
One thing at a time. You can't do everything at a time as fast as possible. You just can't do it. So I can't do it anyway.
Yeah.
So but if I don't have that chance to slow down, I don't have that chance to breathe, that's what gets me. It's that overwhelming. If there's too many people talking to me, too many things all at once, that's when I get crabby, that's when I get snappy, and that's when it's like, oh, Weston's not himself today.
That actually leads to an interesting question too about, is that, other than that stressful situation and other ones, once again, time crunch situations or things looming over your head, do you do any sort of mental exercise or conversation with yourself to kind of help mitigate some of that stress? Like, do you try and find ways to take away that stress in the moment, or is that kind of too hard to see when you're in it?
Time crunch. So I'm a procrastinator. I'm a big procrastinator. Time crunch is not new to me. And it can, and it shouldn't be, it can be a bit of a thrill to know you do not have much time to do a thing and you got to sit down and do it. Like writing an essay at midnight or whatever before it's due or whatever. I've definitely been there before. School comes to mind a lot for that, for deadlines that you put off till the last minute, where I had to rewrite in a different format and like, perspective is not the word I'm looking for, but like almost a different genre. I rewrote all of Frankenstein in a different genre the morning it was due.
Oh my God.
So it was a fever dream that day, the previous day, night, and that morning it was a fever dream. I had a lot of work that day. I had lots of time crunch things I didn't do, and I was working, and I was awake for 49 hours straight. And
oh my God,
it was a rush. And
I think terrible.
It was, but it weirdly, so like it was a stress, but it was exciting because it was a challenge. And it's not a challenge you should enjoy doing, because it's like, well, now I'm going to see how good I can do, even though the odds are against me. It's that weird underdog, like the odds are, even though I did it to myself, the odds are against me. I got to come out on top. So I put on music, This is a situation where I can put on music and try to empty my brain of the rest of the world and focus on the thing that I'm time crunching. So it becomes like a hyperfixation where like I'm in that like a weird flow state for the thing I'm crunching. But I feel like I have a hard time getting to that state if there's no crunch. If there's no hurry, I get distracted so easy. I have so many like you open up a tab, open your phone. If a TV screen is on, I'm lost. So I'm so easily distracted. But when you're in that crunch period, that's a stress that doesn't bother me. It's weird. Deadlines, waiting for that crunch to happen kills me. And then you're on crunch time and it's let's go.
You got to do it, right? That's interesting. Well, you do say that, and I kind of agree actually to an extent with my own stuff as well. When it's crunch time, I mean, just like you said, right? The day of, night before, whatever, or you're really close. Because essentially, basically, you essentially have no choice. You have to do it, right?
Yeah.
That's the idea. So, like, you're going to do it. It's amazing how far you can push yourself. Because, like you just said, you're up for 49 hours. That's ridiculous. I remember when I was making Songs from Sangamon Street, my album, go check it out, everybody, Songs from Sangamon Street, anywhere you stream your music. I set a deadline for myself that was a little, I jumped the gun on it, should have waited a couple extra months, but I already set the deadline, I had the announcement, I didn't want to change it now, that sort of thing, because there was a lot of hype around it, and I didn't want to go, oh, by the way, it's going to be 2 more months. So I put myself in that situation. That's not the point of the story. The point is really, though, I was down to the final weeks. And I know I say weeks, but with an album, weeks is like a day for like a homework assignment because there's so much to do, So not a lot of time at all. And I remember I got it done, and I somehow finished it. And I just remember looking back when it was done, and I remember like my back hurt for a couple months after the album came out because I was always sitting, probably really tensed up. I remember I'd wake up in the morning after like a long late night editing or mastering session on my songs, and the insides of my cheeks would be completely cut and torn because what I was doing was I have a problem with grinding my teeth. So sometimes as a habit, I'll just kind of like rest the insides of my cheeks in between my teeth, not bite, but just kind of rest them there. I don't know why I just do that. But I guess when I was stressed and like doing this stuff, I was grinding my teeth against my cheeks to like stop my teeth from grinding, but then I was cutting my cheeks open, like the insides of my cheeks. So like I was just clearly just like a rock. I was just like a piece of plywood. I couldn't move. But I got it done, and I got a lot done. I got months worth of work done in like 2 weeks. So I don't know how I did it. I didn't talk to anybody. I was angry. Steph and I were fighting. Like it was my fault that we were fighting. It was just like, yes. But what I was trying to say though is that it's amazing what you can accomplish during those crunch times. Like you can do it. It's kind of crazy what
it's
you can
it's
end
like
up
never
doing.
Recommended because like again it's
at what
it's
cost?
a horrible
Exactly.
experience. Yeah, it's at what cost? What did it cost you? Everything.
It did.
So like, it's never recommended, but it's a weird point of pride when you do finish the thing. You're like, that's what I could do in that amount of time and under this pressure. And it's a weird point of pride that we probably shouldn't have, but
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
But it's kind of like, well, God, if I've thought this too with other crunch time moments, which I don't really do it that much anymore, but I have. And then I think what you said, it's like that kind of weird pride you have. And then I think, God, if I did this all the time, imagine how much I could get done. But once again, it goes back to like, at what cost, right?
Yeah.
Like I
imagine, what kind of ball of stress would you be if you had to be in that state constantly? Eventually you would buckle and crash.
You would.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, God, stress can really cause some major issues for people. Like, stress is a killer for
it gives
people.
You
like
back,
stress.
It gives you back of neck zits.
Yeah,
just a giant
neck
zit.
zits. Isn't that weird? Like, but I'm sure too. You've experienced this maybe, especially if you're around a bunch of people. Another thing I do when I get stressed is I can feel hot. I feel hot, and I just want to be cold. You know what I mean? That'll happen to me too. Like I'll just feel like all of a sudden it gets hot. Also, when you get mad, same thing. You just kind of feel hotter, which is interesting.
I don't know what that. I don't know what that's about. I get the science, like you get the blood from like your core and your vessels like flush to your to the surface, and that's why you get that hot sensation. I don't know what that's about when you're under stress. If that's something to make you, like it's fight or flight, right? So it's like evolutionary where you're more ready to go if you've got flushed blood vessels or what. That's got to be some kind of fight or flight evolutionary thing, but I don't know what that's about, where you're feeling stressed and you're just like, oh, I'm hot, I'm itchy. Yeah, I get itchy.
Yes, me too. Yeah.
So,
and then you're annoyed that you're itchy. It's like, why am I itchy? God, you know.
And you get annoyed and you're mad because you're annoyed. And now that you're mad, you itch more. So you scratch more, which cycles.
I know you talk about the too many people talking. It's too loud, too much going on. I need it to slow down. For me, what'll happen, that happens a little bit, but for me, it's more if I'm already stressed about something or like kind of, stressed or maybe kind of like disturbed. I don't know a better word to use than disturbed, but I'm a little disturbed about something. But then like somebody does a normal thing. Say you're sitting in the office at your 9 to 5 and the person in the cubicle across from you is sneezing a lot that day. I'll start to fixate on that person sneezing. Right? Maybe they got the sniffles or something. And it's like, oh my God, will you just please stop sneezing? And like they're doing nothing wrong. They're sneezing, right? Or maybe they're sniffling their nose. That's a better example because that would happen more often. Like if you're not focused on it, you're doing your own thing, you're fine. But as soon as you start to focus on it, neck zits are coming. And then they're there. And then I'll just get stressed about it. And then like I can't say anything. When I was a kid and I was just a little brat, I would like yell at my siblings. Not yell, but I'll become a little smart aleck with them if they were like sniffing a lot or whatever. That was a great, but I I always felt it, right? But I would act out as a kid. I'd go, stop sniffing, right? Like, just stop doing it, as if they could quit, you know? But, so it's always bothered me. So anyway, Weston, don't ever sniff.
The thing that you want to yell is like, just blow your nose already, god darn it. But then, of course, if you have a cold, you blow your nose, and then you'll be back to sniffling in no time anyway. But
I didn't have that foresight as a kid. I didn't look that far ahead. It was just much more, stop sniffing!
Just stop breathing. You know? Just stop.
Right. Fine. I don't care what the solution is. Just stop doing that.
Yeah, I love that. I don't care what the solution is. Make it happen.
Yeah, make it happen. Cut your nose off. I don't care.
That's the absolute desperation of just, I am so frustrated and don't know how to fix this. Just please.
Right. Oh my God. That reminds me of just like, I don't know why. I don't have any good examples or stories, but like this, I feel like when my mom would be mad at me as a kid, she'd say stuff like that. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but it's not this. Go do something else. Like I could just hear my mother. Love you, Mom, if you're listening. But it's like, well, what am I supposed to do, Mom? I don't know what you're supposed to do, but it's not this. You know, like I could hear like something like that. It's like, I don't know.
That's going to be an episode all to itself one day where we talk. Ideally, here's the idea. We need to have a parenting episode where we talk about our opinions about being parents when neither of us are parents. And then when we're still doing this podcast in 10 years, if we both have families, then we can go back and be like, hold on.
Hold on. And we can look at like how inevitably wrong about everything we said.
All right. Maybe there's something we know.
Maybe. But, you know, that's like the big taboo, right? It's like, doesn't matter what they're doing, you do not tell a parent how to parent. Especially if you're not one. Yeah. Like, I know that's always been like the big social, like unspoken thing. Like, don't do it. You don't do that. That's like the worst thing you can tell someone. Like, oh, you know, tell them how to be a parent. Even if you're not a parent. I've seen some parents do some bad parenting, just in public.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Even in private from time to time. Like, but it's not my place. I don't have a kid.
More than anything, it's a fight you're never going to win. So even if you know objectively someone's being a bad parent, you can't tell them how to parent because they're not going to magically become a good parent because you said something. It's not going to happen. So like if you start with that, it's just going to result in a fight. You just don't. It's not worth it. It's not worth your time and energy and effort.
It isn't.
Even if you have the best intentions, it's not worth it.
It's not. Speaking of things being not worth it, Weston.
Oh no!
I think it's time. I think we'll go ahead and switch over to our next segment. Since this is the episode
Is it worth it? Speaking of being not worth it, I guess we'll go to the next part of this episode.
Since this is the stress episode, what I thought we could do, Weston, is that I thought we could put our improv skills to the test by being thrown into some improvised stressful situations or just kind of bad situations.
Oh, no.
And we're going to be given a couple randomly generated objects and a randomly generated scenario, and we'll have to use those objects to get out of the scenario. So I think it's going to be pretty fun. But we'll be back after the short break. Profoundish is brought to you in part by Alex Duquette Medleys. I make theme song medleys, which is where I take a bunch of theme songs and mash them up into one bite-sized song. From Nickelodeon to Adult Swim, I cover it all. So if you want to take a fun, nostalgic trip, search my name, Alex Duquette, on YouTube or go to alexduquette.net.
Profoundish is brought to you in part by Magic Man Mo, a gaming YouTube channel run by me. We stream and we do variety Let's Plays. Check out a short stream compilation to see if it's something that you're going to be into. It's a lot of fun. I made it, so I know. That's Magic Man Mo on YouTube.
Welcome back. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Weston was just
That's
singing
what
that.
I was singing. Let's get it started.
I
Black
stole
Eyed
it
Peas.
from him. Okay.
Good band.
So, that's a good band. I do like Black Eyed Peas.
Not a big
You're
fan
so
of
2000 and
though.
late. Do you like that
You
song,
so
though?
2000. I'm so 2008. You 2000 or late.
2000 and late. Who's laughing now, Fergie?
Yeah,
It's
Fergie,
2024.
Oh God,
That was
16
Fergie, dude.
years ago.
Yeah. Isn't that
Fergie
crazy?
Ferg.
Okay. So today, Weston, I thought it'd be fun. We're going to go through some of these. I have a random scenario generator. I have it filtered to mainly, it doesn't fully work, but to mainly just show negative ones, to be stressful. And then I have a random object generator. So it's going to come up with two objects. And for each of these scenarios we're going to be thrown, we have to find a solution together for these scenarios using the two objects that we're given.
Okay.
That's the game I came up with, because why the heck not?
I like this is unique. We haven't done this before. I like it.
So here is the first one. It's a minor situation, but it could be stressful, especially if you have something to do the next day.
Okay.
So Weston is trying to get Alex to sleep, but to no avail. That's the scenario.
No
Now, how are we going to find?
You give me? I got an idea.
We have right. Well, here we go. We have a necktie and a marble. How are you going to help me get to sleep with a necktie and a marble? What's the solution here?
The necktie, I can just choke you out with a necktie and you'll go to sleep.
Well, I'm going to have to go to sleep the right way.
Okay. I was going to say, do we have to use both items?
I'm going to say yes to make it a
Okay.
little extra interesting.
I mean, I feel like the obvious solution here, I don't know how I would get it to like, all I'm thinking about, in neckties, usually there's like a little bit of a flap on the backside that people don't see, right? That like, there's an opening to get like into the necktie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
You put the marble in there to weigh down the necktie. And you can just do a little hypnotism, like, swinging the necktie back and forth like a coin on a string. Like,
I like that.
Like, what's the name? I'm trying to think of the name of the Pokemon that hypnotizes people. Hypno something.
I won't know, but
You won't know, but I'm really, it's one of the original 150, and I'm really disappointed that I can't remember. Look, I'm an Indigo kid, Indigo League kid. I should remember this. I think it's Hypno.
I'm going to call it Hypnotrode. Hypnotrode.
Hypnotoad. His name is literally Hypno.
Hypnotoad.
Okay, I wasn't.
Okay.
I'm not crazy. Like Hypno for Pokemon.
Is Hypno the
fans
one
out
with
there.
the weird like belly and it had like the belly, like
swirl?
it's the black and white swirly belly? Was that Hypno?
No, that was actually Poliwhirl and Poliwag.
Oh, okay. If you
Not
don't know
even
Pokemon,
remotely
these
related.
names just sound so silly. Poliwag. Okay, well, I was thinking something
Poliwag.
more like this. I was thinking you could kind of like put on a show for me, so I can kind of get distracted, because I go to sleep really well by distracting myself. Like counting
can't-
sheep, right? The idea.
I can't juggle with one marble.
Yeah, you can. You can make it work. If you're wearing a tie, anything is possible. Like, I just see you just in your little necktie, and I see you just in your normal clothes. You're wearing a T-shirt and jeans or whatever, and then you still put a necktie over your, like, white T-shirt, and then you're just, just juggling one around, just walking around my bedroom while I'm just trying to get to sleep.
If I
Silent. You're not making noise.
Like a mime. If I had any magic tricks that used marbles, I could do marble tricks, but, like, I can't think of any that I even know. There's got to be something. I guess I could make them disappear and reappear or something. I could just see you just like holding a marble, you're wearing your tie, and just go, damn it, Alex, just get to sleep. Like you're just so frustrated. Buddy, go to sleep. This goes back to our parenting. You're trying to send your kid to bed. Buddy, just go to frick to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I like your solution though. I think that's a good solution. The
focus on the tie. Focus on the tie. Just keep your eyes on the tie. And then eventually you get tired and you close your eyes and you'll nod off to sleep.
I'm reading. So I have to go through these. Going to get another generator, another couple items here. These aren't negative. What's going on here?
These aren't negatively charged.
Okay. Alex and Weston go to a bar. Okay. Alex gets too drunk, and Weston has to take him home.
Uh-oh.
I guess we could spin that somehow as kind of a negative thing. You're going to let's add a little bit to it. I don't want to go. I need to go. I'm too drunk, but I don't want to go. Let's add that to this, okay? I don't want to leave the bar, but I'm too wasted, and you have to get me to go back home, and you have two items you need to use, a candy wrapper and a bottle of sunscreen. How are you going to force me out of the bar back home? The sunscreen, I have a couple ideas for.
And sunscreen. What am I doing with a candy wrapper? The sunscreen, I'm like, yeah, okay, Alex. Well, I'll tell you what, one more drink, and I'll give you the sunscreen. And when you inevitably drink that because you're like, drunk, and you get violently ill from drinking sunscreen, then I drag your sorry butt home.
How come all these scenarios end with you, like, causing harm to me? The other one was about, like, knocking me out.
I'm a very violent man. All right, Alex.
Well, I guess this is kind of violent too, but here's what I was thinking with the sunscreen. Okay, it's like, Alex, I'll let you stay here and keep drinking, but we're going to have to put sunscreen all over you. And here's the thing. So when you put it on me, you get it on my feet, and then, like, I slip and fall, and, like, I knock myself out, and then you can drag me out. So I was thinking kind of a similar thing now that I think
You're
about it.
You're just trying to get a free
I get
foot
slippery,
massage out of
and
me.
then I fall over.
You.
It's true. But, I just kind of slip and fall, and then, like, I'm like, I can't get myself back up. I'm too drunk, so then you just drag me out. Now, the candy wrapper...
I don't know what to do with a candy wrapper.
I have an idea. What if... like, when I drink a lot, I like to eat. I like sweets. I like anything, right? I get the drunk munchies, right? So, like, you could go, hey, Alex, huh? See this? And you're like, crinkling it, and your hands go, there's more out in the car. Come on, come get it. Something like that, like to tempt me, to lure me in.
But now I'm not using the sunscreen.
No, oh, crap. How do we do both at the same time? How do you lure me with candy and lather me up in sunscreen? Or I guess you don't even have to lather me up in it. We don't have to go with that scenario.
You just really want to be lathered in sunscreen.
I mean, I love the idea.
Is the sunscreen the lotion kind or the aerosol kind?
It doesn't specify.
Because I'll be like, okay, because if it's an aerosol kind, I don't know if it's flammable or not. Can I use it to create a flamethrower?
At a bar?
Yes. I don't know what I'm using it for. The only thing I can think of to use both of these items is I use the crinkling of the candy wrapper to get you outside. Then I use the flamethrower of the sunscreen to force you into my car.
You know what? I'm going to go with that solution. I like it.
I can't think of why I would use both. Why would you use a candy wrapper for anything? I don't. It's trash.
Oh, that's funny. All right. Well, I think that'll work.
If that counts, okay.
Let's see what else we got here. Okay. Here we go. Let's tame it down a little bit. Weston is frustrated by losing a board game to Alex. So let's just say my goal is to kind of calm you down. Like, it's okay, you lost, it's fine, right? But you're really mad about it.
You cheated.
And I have to do it with a game cartridge and sunglasses. So
okay, Weston.
I have an idea.
It's put these sunglasses on. Let's do a let's play. We're reenacting the Raging Greek.
I got it. I already got it. Right? So like you're kind of mad, you're kind of bummed out. Like Weston, hold on a second. I leave. I come back wearing the glasses with Goemon and go. You know what I mean? Let's do it. Let's play a Goemon. Let's do it. Let's do it again.
Listen, Weston. You're like, Weston, we got to finish this game. We've gotten so far. We've gone so far and got so close, but in the end, we got to finish this game.
We still got to finish this game. Yeah, that's good. That's actually a great solution. I don't have any other ones.
I like it. I don't know what the sunglasses are for, other than just the cool factor.
Look cool. Yeah.
So I'll take it.
Here we have another one. Weston and Alex are at a wild party.
Okay.
All right. But Alex doesn't want to be there. How do you convince me to like enjoy myself? Like your goal is to enjoy yourself. Okay.
So I'm not trying to convince you to leave.
You're trying to convince me we're at this wild party. Let's have some fun. You're having fun. I'm not. You have to use a checkbook and a cell phone.
Okay.
The cell phone could probably have some uses.
Yeah, you can do a lot with a cell phone. I'm trying to think, what am I doing with the checkbook? I like the obvious solution is some kind of bribery. But then what is the cell phone for? No, I'll tell you what, Alex. I need you to stay at this party. You're my DD or something. I'm too wilding it out. You can't leave. I'm stuck here. You got to stay. Right. All right? But I'll tell you what. If you can call a random number, a stranger on this cell phone, and get them to say any 3-digit number, I'll write you a check for that amount.
I like that.
I
like it.
Turn into a game. And then, like, since we're at a wild party, I give you this, like, ultimatum, right? And as you're, like, looking for a number to call or whatever, I'm getting the guys around, like, guys, we're gonna prank call somebody. And I guess I'm just going to pay Alex money. I'm Mr. Beast up in here. I'm just giving it away.
Well, no one said it has to be your checkbook. So
I've got someone else's blank checkbook, and it
just says a checkbook.
Guys, forget this. We're taking this wild party to the casino. I've got a blank checkbook. Let's go. I'm putting it on black. Blank checkbook, baby.
I just love that idea. Like you're like at the casino. You go up to the table. You lay down a blank checkbook. I'm all in. It's so stupid. I'm all in.
It's like no way casinos even take checks.
I know, that's the funniest part. It's like, what's this idiot do? I'm all in. It's like, wow, look at you, Mr. Moneybags, putting down literally nothing.
Putting down what might as well be a notebook.
Oh my goodness, that's funny. All right, I like that one. You make a game out of it, makes me want to stay.
Yeah, and we're all having fun.
Let's see here. All right, another scenario.
Scenario.
That's not scenario. It is kind of look like that.
There's a silent C in there.
Okay, hold on. Oh, well, I don't know how that would work. Okay, I like this one. Here we go. Weston and Alex are playing a co-op game, and Alex keeps dicking around, and Weston just wants to get past the first level. God dang it!
This sounds right. This sounds about right.
So let's see. How could we spin this around? I guess like you need to get me to focus. Okay, we're playing It Takes Two, and I'm just trying to run off, and I'm not trying to follow the stay on course. I'm just running around. We can't get anywhere, and you're like, Alex, we just need to finish this level. Now we're playing. Let's for the sake of it, we're in person for this scenario. Okay, so we're both playing in front of the same screen. Let's just say that. You're gonna have to try and get me on track in this game in the real world by using
a tie and a marble,
a paper clip, and I'm just gonna say, well, it says a miniature portrait is what it says, but it can be any size portrait.
And a miniature portrait.
How are you going to convince me to get back on track with this game?
I'm going to give a riveting speech about how the individual in the portrait didn't give up and they were focused and they achieved their goals. And then I'm going to stab you with the paper clip. I'm going to unravel it and give you a stab.
I don't like how all these end with me getting hurt, so we'll have to talk about this after the podcast ends. But no, I'm just kidding. The paper clip, I like the idea of that first part because you said, like, you tell the story about how the paper clip and the portrait got along, and they're unlikely to get along because it's a paper clip and a portrait. A paper clip has no use being around a portrait. What do they do working together? It's like if they can we're two humans, we can do this. I do like that angle. I was thinking either that or like you give I don't know how you'd use the portrait, but like you give a good speech about like you motivate me to get on track with the game. And you're like, here's a paper clip. I have this printed out. I printed out my speech. Here's a paper clip. You just use it as a prop at the end. It could be a lie. You can go staple that together or whatever. But I don't know what you'd do with the portrait for that.
I'm going to keep prodding you with the paper clip, and I'm going to put
Weston,
the portrait
we need to have
up.
a talk.
I'll put the portrait up next to the game as inspiration, so that
It's
you
a
can
portrait
look
of
at
me.
it. It's a portrait of you,
And you're
be
stabbing
like, "That's
it."
me." And I'm like, "We got to get through this level." And I'm just stabbing you with the paper clip. Every time you lose focus, look at the portrait, then look up at the game.
I like it.
Or no, actually, I got a better inspirational speech. Actually, it's like, Alex, you're goofing off, and I can't do this without you. I can't beat this level without you. It's a co-op game. It's like this portrait, and I'll take the portrait and I'll like rip a little bit of it. See how easy it rips when it's by itself, and then I'll fold it up a bunch of times and paper clip it together and say, now it's impossible to rip, and I'll try to rip it and I can't, and the paper clip keeps it together. This game is the paperclip. It's brought us together. We need to be like the portrait, folded and strong.
I like that. I'm a softie for big, grand speeches, so that would work for me.
Yeah, I'll stop
I like it.
and just stand up and give this grand speech, and you'll be so motivated and we beat Go Man's Great Adventure, or It Takes Two, or whatever.
I like that. All right. Let's take it from the indoors and head outdoors. And this is kind of fitting for it being wintertime as we record this. Alex and Weston go ice skating.
Oh, no.
Weston is not very good, and Alex has to help him. So I need to help you with the ice skating. You probably keep slipping and falling or whatever, and I have to help you with keys and a snow globe.
Okay.
How do I help you with keys and a snow globe?
So you give me the snow globe to distract me. You use your keys to get into your car and drive to Staff's, because she said she wants to teach me how to ice skate.
Yeah, she can ice skate. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't remember when we had this conversation, if it was on 2P's podcast when I guested over there, or when we talked last or something. We talked about rollerblading because I sucked at that. She's like, you got to go ice skating. I'm like, I don't think that's a good idea. It's just a conversation I remember having.
Who knows? Maybe next time we're all together, Step included, we might have to go ice skating together. It might just happen.
It might. I don't.
He's
remember.
not saying it's not going to happen.
It might. It might have to happen. It won't, but it'll have to. So when I don't do it, the world will just explode because it had to happen and it didn't happen. So
right. So we don't need an exploding. We don't need an exploding world. At least not until Profoundish becomes bigger than what it is. So we got to keep it rolling here.
I'm going to say media juggernaut that is Profoundish.
This doesn't specify the keys. Oh, I have an idea.
Okay.
I could kind of do maybe a I'm going to scare you into getting better. Right? Maybe what I can start doing is right, let's assume you know the techniques, all right?
Okay.
And I'm like, Weston, the longer you keep screwing this up, the more I'm going to scrape keys into this ice to loosen it up, to break it up, and we're going around. So until you get better, I keep bending down and as like a kind of a fear motivator, because you don't want to fall into the ice, right? You know, so the crunch time goes back to crunch time, right? You got to get this going before you fall into the ice. Now there's a snow globe.
Yeah.
I think I'm just going to be holding the snow globe. I'm going to hold the snow globe while I do it, just for extra.
Well, the snow globe could be like an hourglass. You turn it over and back up, and when the snow finishes
that's
falling,
smart.
that's when you like work away at the ice.
I like that. Yeah, it's like, the snow globe until like it flips all the way over or whatever's in there, the snow, right? It's like, I'm going to keep doing this, and when it stops, I'm done. And then we'll wait another few minutes. You got to keep going, try it again. Nope, you're still not good enough yet? All right. Turn it. I'm like maybe doing it like around you, you know.
I will say there is like perhaps one hiccup in your plan is that keys are like relatively small, right? And if you can like crack into the ice and make a difference, I feel like, because ice skates are kind of sharp already. Maybe I shouldn't be ice skating on this surface if you could start cracking it apart with car keys.
My plan is foiled.
You might be working at that ice for an awfully long time with that key.
I'm a fool.
I like the idea, though, if you had something that wasn't keys, like some sort of like dagger, ice pick or something.
I could just take the snow globe and I could just keep throwing it down really hard at the ice, you know, just to try and put a dent in it, assuming the snow globe wouldn't break.
I was gonna say, I think the snow globe will shatter long before the ice does.
My plan's foiled yet again!
But I liked that first plan. I liked the idea.
Let's just pretend the keys worked. Maybe it's an old-timey, like, long key. One of those big, thick, like, long keys.
What was the object? Was it just keys or car keys?
It was just keys. I assumed car keys in my head.
What's the game with the keyblade? Yeah. The Kingdom Hearts, I think. It could be a keyblade. Yeah. A giant sword shaped like a key. There you go. That would do it.
That could definitely do some damage. I like it. We came to a solution. Let's do a couple more here. Let me pull that. That's going to be a weird item. Okay. Some of these are just like, I'm going to skip it, but one of them was like, Alex and Weston are wearing each other's clothes.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Cool. Chill.
We're about the same size. Okay. About the same.
We can make it work. Remember that one day? I don't know if you remember this. I know Wiley does, but if you don't know who Wiley is, everybody, that's Weston's brother. There was this one time where we were all going to McDonald's together. We had a McDonald's in our hometown, and I remember him and I thought it was funny because Wiley's just a big person. He's just a big guy. So like his shirt was like twice the size of mine. And we thought it would be funny if like everybody was already in McDonald's. We were behind for some reason. We thought, wouldn't it be funny if we traded shirts and went in? And then we went into McDonald's I had this big loose shirt on, and he had like this skin tight, his belly's out shirt. Do you remember that at all?
Not really.
I bet you he does. Next time I talk to him, I got to bring that up to him because we thought it was so funny. And I remember you guys just kind of looked at us weird, and I remember not getting the reaction that we wanted.
Well, because it probably took a while before it sunk in. Like, what's going on? What?
I think they noticed it on Wiley first. Like, Wiley, your shirt is way too small. What's going on?
Sure is far too tight, my guy.
So here we go, Wes, and here's a scenario that, who knows, may happen for real one day with us. Alex and Weston fight over who will sleep where on the bunk bed.
Oh, I get top bunk.
Well, we're going to fight over it, right? So we're going to have to come to an agreement.
Like, we're gonna have to, like Simba.
How are we going to come to an agreement with a chair and a box of chalk?
Well, I slam the chair over your head and knock you out. And then I use the chalk to make a chalk outline of your body and then stuff you in a dumpster. And then I sleep in the top bunk.
If this is the game we're going to play, I think I'm going to shove that chalk down your throat, not give you a chance to swallow it, suffocate you, and then I'll just knock you out with the chair too. That's what I'll do. And then you'll be pooping chalk for
you
weeks.
already suffocated me.
Suffocation.
Suffocation, dislocation.
I know exactly what to do.
Okay.
Musical chair. We're going to play musical chair. And
Ooh.
the only way we're going to use the chalk, it's simple. Just put an X on the seat. It's a wooden chair. Put an X on there. Boom. Chalk's done. We use the chalk. All right? And then it's the chair. And then we play musical chair. And whoever sits in the chair first gets to pick the spot they want.
And
Which is top
the
bunk,
chalk
obviously.
on the chair is proof. Like if we're fighting, right, and then we're trying to sit on it, and we're like on it at the same time, we're arguing over who actually sat on the chair. Whoever's got chalk over their butt is the winner.
Or if we both do, whoever has more on their butt, because that implies that, you got more, kind of more chalk real estate on your butt.
And I've got more butt real estate, period. So it's going to be me.
So butt real estate.
We call it butt estate.
He does. Yeah, butt estate. I like that. That's good. Weston, let's do one more. What do you say?
Una más. That
All
means
right, here we
one more
go.
in Spanish.
I'm glad you said that because I didn't know. I figured it had something like that. Let's see. Well, that doesn't have a good thing. Oh, no, that's not good. Weston, give us a little song. Sing us a little ditty while I find another one.
Somewhere over the rainbow, there's a pot of gold.
How about a pot of spaghetti? Alex and Weston fight over the last portion of delicious food. We're both hungry. We have not had enough food yet.
I am hungry.
To make this interesting for our objects, I'm going to hit the unique button. Let's see what that does.
What does that mean? I don't know.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
So we are fighting over the last portion of delicious food. We both like spaghetti. So let's say we're still hungry. We want that last portion of spaghetti. We need to settle this, just like the last one. And we have to use two objects. A ladle.
Okay, that's fair.
And a sword. A sword. A sword, not two. One sword. I know what you're going to say. Take the sword. I chop off all your limbs.
I chop off
That's
your
what I was
limbs,
waiting for.
and I use the ladle to eat the spaghetti over your grave.
Yeah, you're exactly. Just every one of these scenarios, it gets more and more just morbid. Just your answers.
Yeah. It's like, do we need to talk about why Weston desperately wants to brutally maim Alex?
Yeah, what's going on?
It's the most obvious
Sword.
solution. Violence is always the obvious solution.
It is a solution. Sword. How would we realistically use a sword? The ladle makes sense. I feel like that kind of speaks for itself.
I feel like, hear me out. Okay, you take the ladle because we're talking about like the last thing is spagoot, right? You touch my spaghetti. We ladle up some of the spagooter, put it on a counter, I guess, because the plate's gonna break. Counter, plate, something. And the idea is, we'll Rochambeau, we'll have rock, paper, scissors over who gets to use the sword. Whoever's got the sword has to try to, in one move, cut the spaghetti in half, right? And then pick which side is the bigger side. And if they're right, they get the spaghetti. And if they're wrong, they don't. Or maybe the person cuts in half, the other person has to guess which one's the bigger half. That way you can't try to skew it.
I like that.
So it's kind of like drawing sticks, drawing straws.
Right. I have a randomness factor in mind, but it would be, I was thinking we'd take the sword, have a lot of space, maybe it's the kitchen floor, and we do spin the bottle, but it's a sword. And then the edge of the sword, whoever it faces is the one that gets the spaghetti.
So how do you use the ladle?
To eat the spaghetti.
No, that doesn't count. You have to use the ladle as solving the problem.
Weston. Yeah, you're right. I was just thinking, the ladle can just be used to get the spaghetti.
You spin the sword, and whoever the hilt is facing gets the spaghetti, and whoever the pointy end gets beat with a ladle.
I like that. Or they have to eat the ladle.
Someone's getting beat.
They have to eat the ladle. The other person cuts up the ladle with the sword, and you eat it in pieces. I like that.
You get to be the one that licks the ladle after the person who ladles up the last spaghetti. The other person gets to lick the ladle.
I like it. We have solutions for these stressful problems because
most of them violent.
Most of them tend to be violent, but we did it. Weston, that was fun. A little bit different.
It was stressful. I didn't
Very
like
stressful.
that at all.
I always
I'm
love
getting back
me
sits.
neither. Hey, neck zits. My back is
Neck
fine.
sits. Back
Get
of
it
neck
right.
sits.
God, it's so true. I'm getting one just thinking about it. I can feel it. Well, that was a little different. I always love putting our improv skills to the test. That's one of my favorite things that we do. So
Keeps you on your toes.
Well, it is time for us to wrap things up. Weston,
Yeah.
where can people find you on the internet?
Right here. You can find me. I've got a website, westonhasty.com. It's a landing page for all of my things. You can find me gaming over on YouTube at Magic Man Mo. You can come say hi to me on Twitter at Weston Hasty. You can read some poetry, hastilymadedecision.com. And you can listen to me over here on Profoundish. But you already knew that. Alex, where do we find you?
I like that. But you already knew that.
You already knew that.
I am Alex Duquette. You can search my name anywhere you'd like. Today I'm going to tell you to search something different, though. Last time I talked about my music. This time I'm going to talk about my newest venture, which is called VGM Quest. It's where I do deep dives and retrospectives of video game soundtracks. So I don't mind sharing this. It won't be out by the time this episode's out, but I'm working on my next VGM Quest video, which is going to be covering the classic Mario 64 soundtrack. That one has been highly requested, and it's a soundtrack I grew up with, so I wanted to cover it. So, but I've covered it also for Donkey Kong Country and Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I just go through literally, Weston's seen them, he can attest to it. I go through every song in the game and break it down. It's really fun. It's really cool. And I always kind of I always try to spin it with a fun narrative. And anyway, check that out. VGM Quest, your support would mean a whole lot there. In terms of Profoundish,
That's VGM. V as in video, G as in game, M as in music. There you go.
I thought you were going to say M as in Millhouse.
M as in
like other-
Magic Man Mo.
Right. VGMO Quest. Profoundish, though, you can, obviously you're watching us right here. That's great. We appreciate you watching us right here. But you can also check us out on the socials, Twitter. We're not on Facebook, are we? I don't think we're on Facebook. But we're on Twitter. We're on
we
Instagram.
should be. That's a project for the future.
That's a project for the future. One thing at a time. We got video, okay? That's enough, right? So anyway, you can find us Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Check us out there at Profoundish Pod. In terms of showing support to the show, there's two ways to do that. One way is going to be liking the video if you're on YouTube, sending us a rating if you're on Apple or Spotify. Do the ratings. That's a huge thing. Partake in the polls, which I just realized very quickly I'm going to read.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that before we started.
I know. We have polls that we can partake in. That helps show support, too, and it helps get our podcast out. A couple episodes ago, we talked about PC versus Mac, which is better. And in this particular one, it was a 50-50 split. 50% said Mac, 50% said PC. Come on.
Get out of here.
And then also
PC.
we have another one more recently, which is what kind of books do you like to read? And we had fiction, nonfiction. I don't read or don't read, but I want to. And everybody voted for fiction. So anyone who listens who voted said they read fiction. So interesting. Interesting. Anyway, partake in that stuff. Please do it. A great way to show support and have your comments read out loud would be supporting us on Patreon. So please do that. We have obviously, we'll read your responses and comments on there right here live on the show. But also,
Patreon.com/Profoundish.
/Profoundish. Go check us out there for as little as $1 a month. You can do that. You can also get exclusive access to a mini podcast series where we kind of talk about anything and everything, but it's off the cuff, anything goes. We're not trying to meet the standards of well,
I don't know where you're going with
take
this.
people away. I know.
It's a podcast about rebellion and fighting the man.
We're fighting against the man, right? No, long story short, we're off the cuff. We'll talk about whatever we want to talk about and just have some fun. It's kind of a little more laid back, but it's fun. So you should check us out there and get that little extra exclusive content. And Weston makes awesome thumbnails for it. So
I do it in paint.
That's when you wink and then there's like little ting. I do it in paint. Anyway,
paint.
I've taken up enough time plugging Profoundish. Thank you for listening. And be good, make good choices. Until next time.
All right.
All right.